Hi everybody, this is Spencer Swindon, creator of Real Obsession Confessions of a Cinema Hound, and this is my first video review. So I've been trying to write as many reviews as I can, but unfortunately the semester is coming to an end, so I've been working hard on writing papers and studying for exams and stuff like that, so I haven't had as much time to actually sit down and write. So I'm going to get back to that very soon, but I figure while I have some time, I should maybe try and do something different. So, tonight I'm going to review a film for you that I recently saw that I really loved. I can't stress enough how much I loved it. Mainly because I anticipated it for so long and it was better than anything I expected. It is Beautiful Darling, The Life and Times of Candy Darling, Andy Warhol Superstar. Now, I cannot tell you enough how much I love Candy Darling in general. Ever since I was in high school and I saw Women in Revolt, which was my first Paul I think it was. Was it Frankenstein? No, it was Women in Revolt was my first Warhol Morrissey film. And Candy Darling, Jackie Curtis, and Holly Woodlawn all became three of my favorite people, I guess. But Candy Darling was definitely my favorite of the three. And I just because she exuded that movie star quality that I love so much from old Hollywood, and she was transplanting it into this weird 70s art scene. So I don't. There's just something so odd about her, but at the same time, she's not odd at all. I don't know how to describe it. I'm sure people kind of maybe understand what I'm trying to get with that. But anyway, so when I found out that this film was being made and released, I was so excited. And I didn't get a chance to see it theatrically, but when I found out online that it was being released on DVD, I immediately bought it from Corneth Films, who was the studio that released it. And I was really kind of nervous to watch it because I built it up so much. I was hoping that it would meet my expectations or hopefully exceed them. And it didn't meet my expectations. It was better than my expectations. Completely different from what I thought it would be, and it went beyond. I really love the film. I learned so much more about Candy Darling than I ever thought that I could know. I feel like for a long time I just had the common. I like to think that I didn't fall into this category, but I feel like I felt for a while that, Candy Darling was a talented person, but she just kind of lived this fantasy world of being a Marilyn Monroe type or a Kim Novak type who got involved with Andy Warhol. He put her in a few movies and became a famous in the art world, and then tragically died. So that was my idea of what Candy Darling was in the beginning. But you really learn so much more. In fact, that she was actually on her way to possibly becoming a legitimate actress in movies. I mean, she did a lot of films outside of the film she did with Morrissey and Warhol. She was breaking away from that mold. She was Tennessee Williams himself cast her in one of his plays, which was one of her last roles, I believe. And people wrote about her favorably. Critics did. People loved her, and they didn't even really acknowledge the fact that she wasn't really a woman. They few critics wrote about it because it was, some bit of sensationalism, but that was never like the topic of interest. People were just interested in Candy, not the fact that she was, this, what they could have made it some kind of sideshow act, and the idea, oh, she's involved with Andy Warhol, all this stuff. They really liked her, and it's really a beautiful, sweet documentary. It's told through basically it follows her really good friend, maybe her best friend, Jeremiah Newton, who is throughout the film planning a burial for Candy's ashes, and he's taking you on a journey through her life and how he met her in New York when she was involved with Andy Warhol. And it also has really nice interviews with people who knew Candy or people who were fans of Candy, including Holly Woodlawn, one of the other Warhol drag queens, Jane County, Penny Arcade, John Waters, Fran Lebowitz, Paul Morrissey, Julie Newmar, actually. And yeah, it's just a really sweet, touching film. You learn a lot more. You see a different side of Candy. You see a really sweet side. You see a really insecure side. You see a really depressed side. You see a really eager side. You see how driven and focused she was into becoming a movie star, and how that was the one thing that she aimed to do in life, and she was on her way to succeeding, and unfortunately it didn't work out that way because she died tragically at a very young age. But her movies live on, and thankfully this documentary was made, so her legacy lives on. People can learn about her. People can really learn to appreciate and love her more than I'm sure they already do. I mean, it's not like nobody knew who Candy Darling was before it, but I feel like people are going to walk away with a newfound appreciation for her and really, I don't know, really respect her more. Really, uh, yeah, I can't say any more about it. I'm speechless. It was so good. No, I really love Candy Darling. It was a really great treat, and even if you're not a fan of, you know, even if you haven't seen an Andy Warhol film, if you're into LGBT films or just documentaries in general, or movie stars, the idea of fame, anything, there's something in the movie for all types of audiences, basically. If you really want a great, inspirational, sad, funny story that's true and told with a lot of love from the filmmakers and the participants, I really recommend see Beautiful Darling. Does it say who it's directed by? It's written, directed by James Rassin, and produced by Jeremiah Newton, Candy's good friend. 87 minutes long. It's on DVD. I think you can buy it on Amazon, but I got it from Corneth Films, so I recommend going there. Independent company who released this movie and a lot of other great movies, so support them. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope that you see Beautiful Darling, and have a good night, everybody.